Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Miss Sensational Gaming channel. Today I want to do something a little bit different. Ever since I made a video to determine which roster of fighting game characters from Capcom side and SNK side should be the ones that goes to Capcom versus SNK 3. And I thought of something that I never thought before, because everyone used this website called Chat GPT. So what I'm going to do is ask Chat GPT this important question. Write a list of Capcom fighters that will be in Capcom versus SNK 3. Alright, let's press enter and see what does this say. Now, according to this, it says that in the list of Capcom fighters that will appear in fan-made games or future games balancing characters, fan favorites, newer faces. This list includes fighters across different franchises and play styles to create diverse and exciting rosters. So here is Capcom's roster. Number 1, and this is from the series of Street Fighter. Number 1 is Ryu, Ken Masters, Chun-Li, Guile, Cammy, M. Bison, the Dictator, Sagat, Akuma, Sakura, Jury, which I'm trying to figure out if they're referring to the Jury from Street Fighter Alpha, or possibly the 4th game where she makes the other Jury. I don't know. But what I do know is that Luke from Street Fighter, I think Street Fighter 6 or 5. I can't remember which one. I do have Street Fighter 5 on the PS4. Rashid, Laura, which both of them are in Street Fighter 5, that's why I know. Zangief and Ibuki. Then we have the Darkstalker series, which this is the character that I want to be in. Morgan, also Dimitri, the Vampire, Felicia, Lele or Lily, the Zombie Girl, and Zabel or Mr. Raptor, who is the zombie. Then we have the Final Fight Streetwise characters such as Cody, Guy, Poison, and Hugo. Rival Schools, which is Batsu, Hinata, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, and Kyosuke, which of course he was from Capcom vs. SNK 2, where he made his appearance. Then we have the Power Stone, which is Edward and Ayemi. I don't know how you pronounce that word. We have Tessa, which I believe is the witch girl with the witch hat, and Leo, which I'm assuming is the lion. And of course, who could forget Resident Evil characters? Even though they're not like fighting game material, but Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and Albert Wesker did make an appearance in Marvel vs. Capcom. Jill is from MVC2, and Leon Kennedy will probably be the first. I think he did make an appearance of the mobile game that is not available. It was like shut down. Puzzle Fighter, if you heard of it. It was on a mobile game, but unfortunately I was unable to get to play that. The first time, excuse me, my voice went off. The first time I played this was at my Apple iPad, I think. I don't remember. What I do remember is that, Then we have other legacy Capcom fighters, such as Captain Commando, Strider. Then we have Jin from Cyberbots. Then we have Hayato. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. This person is from Star Gladiator. Asura from Asura's Wrath. And Nero from Devil May Cry 4 and 5. They should have put Dante. Seriously, they should have put Dante. But hey, it is what it is. I'm going to copy and paste this, and here's the next roster. So the next roster that I'm going to do right now is to ask Chat GPT, and this is an idea from this website. It's not my idea. I already have some ideas from my other video where I made it, but this one is an idea from Chat GPT of its own. But I am going to ask Chat GPT to write a list of SNK characters or fighters that will be in the Capcom vs SNK 3. Sure, there are some fan-made games of this, but if they're going to make this in the future, then this is going to be like the roster that I need. So while we wait for this to load, I would like to say that I enjoyed the Capcom vs SNK 2. And it's one of these fighting games that I really wanted so badly when I first got the PS2. And I didn't get it on the previous Christmas, but when me and my mother moved out of the house and into different homes, and when I finally got it as a surprise like gift, I was so excited, so happy to try this game. The first time I actually played it was in the arcades with my father. And it was a lot of fun and amazing. It brings some very good memories. But the point is that I do have the PS2 version, and I'm not going to give it away nor sell it because it's the only memory that I have that involves my mother. I might as well have to place it in some sort of frame case so that no one would take that from me. It's valuable, but it's basically because of the memories of it, not because of what it's worth. Alright, so enough with the ramblings and the sentimental stuff. Let's go ahead and cut to the chase. Let's see what ChatGPT said about the list of characters. First of all, Kingdom Fighters, core fighters. We have Kyo, obviously, Yuri, obviously, Terry, which basically he's from Fatal Fury, but now he's also from Kingdom Fighters. So it's quite obvious he's going to be in this list. We got Mai, Ryo, from Art of Fighting, of course. We got Athena, we got Kim, Joe, Ralph Jones, Clark Still, Leona. Then we got King, Yuri, Benamaru. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's the one who has the hair straight now and all that. Then we have Goro, which I believe these two were once teaming up with Kyo. We got the Samurai Showdown series, which is Hamaru Nakaruru, which is the girl with the bird. Then we have Jinjuro. I can't pronounce the name. We have Charlotte. We have Yukio. And then we have characters from the Fatal Fury series. But since Terry is in the category of King of Fighters, in this Fatal Fury series list, we have Geese Hauer, obviously the final boss from the first Fatal Fury game, and also rivals and enemies towards Terry and his son Rock Howard, which, by the way, he's on the list as well. Then we have Blue Mary and Billy Kane. For Art of Fighting, we have Robert, who is once allies with Ryo, and Kasumi, which is not the one from Dead or Alive. Then we have the new eras of King of Fighters, such as Isla, Dolores, and some other names that I cannot pronounce. Then we have the villains, which is Orochi, which I believe it's like the tall dude that is responsible for the Riot of Blood, I think, or something along these lines. I think he's born with Chris. I do not remember. Because I barely play King of Fighters. Because here's the thing about me. If I seen fighting games that I wasn't aware of, then it proves that I have not played at the time. I'm more like a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, the games that I know and recognize. But ever since Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2 arrived, I was curious of how this other game is different than Capcom's. But to get back on track, we have Rugal, the one with the suit, Ash Crimson, Shermie, the Orochi team. We got Kay, and we also got Kula Diamond. I don't know why she's a villain, but I'm assuming that she's a boss. So that's why it's in the category of bosses and villains. Or lack of. Not lack of, but. Then we have other SNK fighters, such as Marco Rossi from Metal Gear. Also from Metal Gear, we got Vio Jeremy, B. Jeanette from Garou Mark of the Wolves, which is sort of like a Fatal Fury game. And then we got Tizak. I can't even pronounce that name either, which I find it very hilarious. So those are the lists that those are the roster lists that Chat GPT suggested. But I think what we need to figure out is to figure out how many stages is going to be in, and I gotta copy and paste this one, because we can't have a fighting game without stages that we could select. So let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT that question. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So ChatGPT has finished writing down the list of total stages, and the total is 24. And let's see, we have 12 stage themes for Capcom's side. We have the Suzuka Castle, which is Ryu's dojo in Japan of Street Fighter. The Shadow Lu's Lair, which is M. Bison's Fortress. We have the Metro City rooftop from Final Fight. We got I can't pronounce the name. This is Morgan's last name, and it's her estate, which is from Darkstalkers. The Umbrella Laboratory from Resident Evil, which I'm assuming it's going to be the first one they're talking about, with the zombie background action. Power Stone Island, which is a vibrant and dynamic stage. We have another subway city, but it's on... No, we have another metro city, but it's on a subway. An urban underground chaos. Then we have the rival school's courtyard, battle after class. Astral Chaos, which is Asura's Wrath inspired mystical realm. Neo Umbrella HQ, which is a slick, high-tech rooftop at night. Devil May Cry Cathedral, which is a Gothic church ruins. We have the Lost World Jungle, which is the Red Earth style ancient area. So that is the stage on Capcom side. Here's the SNK theme stages that also includes 12. We have the Pow Poo Cafe, which is... No, it's the Pow Pow Cafe, excuse me. It is probably similar to the first Capcom vs. SNK game. And it's a Fatal Fury lively with audience cheering. Then we have the G Mantos Tower, which is a King of Fighters urban skyline. Southtown Alley, a classic KOF brawler setting. The Orochi Shrine, a sacred an ominous atmosphere. Neo Geo Coliseum, modern gladiator style arena. Then we have the Samurai Showdown Dojo, Cherry Blossoms Falling. That's very good idea of animation. Forest of Spirits, which is Nakaru's home, peaceful nature. Then we have Howard Tower Rooftop, which is Geese Howard's showdown zone. Then we got Akari Base Camp, a military installation. Desert Train, a Metal Gear Solid train, I can't even speak. A Metal Gear Solid moving train battle. Southtown Harbor, crates, cranes, and sunset lighting. Jungle Ruins, which is a Garu-style weathered battleground. And finally, this one states that the stage could include dynamic weather time shifts, day to night, and rain, which is probably going to be a similar mechanic of Mortal Kombat 1. Not the original Mortal Kombat 1, but you know. Because they do have some of the stages that involves day and night. Stage-specific interaction or cameos. When do I heard this before? Hagar watching the Metro City, SNK background characters cheering, music remixes combining Capcom and SNK themes, which is going to be very, very nice to see. But there is one more thing. I would like to ask. Who is the final boss or secret boss in this game? This is the last question. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final question. Who is the final boss of this game? So apparently we have Omega Rugal X crossover fusion form, which is an officiation, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, SNK with tech stolen from Shadowloo. Design, a terrifying fusion of Rugal and M. Bison psycho powers all together. Enhanced with cybernetic Shadowloo tech and all that kind of stuff. This is what it says here. Of course, we do have the secret bosses. The stage, the collapse, a Shadowloo SNK hybrid base in ruins, swirling with unstable energy, which is probably almost similar to like Capcom vs SNK 2, where you thought you beat the game, but for some reason, if you reach the highest points or get the finest KO, you get to fight one more, but it's very hard as it seems. Then we have the secret bosses, which is going to be Shin Akuma versus Orochi Iori, split path encounter, which is definitely going to be quite interesting. Player who meets certain conditions, no continues, full team in act, will face one of these secret bosses. Shin Akuma, enhanced version of Akuma with nearly air fireballs and all that kind of stuff, like teleports. The stage is going to be a fallen Zazaku, I can't even pronounce this. Let's just say it's Ryu's temple engulfed in flames. That's simple enough. Then we have Orochi Iori, a savage redhead. He does have red hair, but he is a savage red-eye Iori with uncontrollable rage and purple flames. He uses Riot of the Blood style attacks with massive range. And the stage is going to be the Blood Moon Shrine, an ancient battleground under a red eclipse. The true final boss is Abyss Omega, unlocked via extreme difficulty or special mode. Abyss Omega is a new original fusion entity born from the Psycho Power and Orochi energy colliding, and this one is definitely inspired by MVS2 and G Rugal. The first phase is going to include human-like shadow figure with mixed styles, and the second phase is going to be a giant abstract being that warps the battlefield. Now, as far as whether or not if there's going to be a story mode, we'll probably worry about that in another time for another video. To ask Chat GPT if there's any stories in this particular game. There's not much stories in Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2, other than what you see in the endings of it when you fight the bosses and stuff, or almost reach to the final battle like Capcom vs. SNK 2. But I hope you enjoy this video, and if you like ChatGPT's idea, leave a like, and subscribe to the Miss Sensational subscribe to the Miss Sensational Gaming channel, and I'll see y'all in the next video.